Hey guys, I'm Fishy, and today I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to be revealing Klek Entos' absolutely sinisterly amazing magic trick. I'm going to be revealing his audition, which I'm pretty sure premiered on the 15th of June. Now, I got to admit, this audition is probably one of the coolest magic auditions I've ever seen on American's Got Talent, and I know there's going to be a lot of American people watching this, and yes, I am British. I've been watching AGT, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to reveal how I think this guy did it. Basically, today's video is just going to be me telling you guys my opinion on how I think he did some of the tricks that he performed. All of his tricks were absolutely amazing, and you know what, maybe it's real magic, but today I'm just going to be giving my opinion, basically just what I think actually happened. There's no proof for what I say today is real. This is just completely my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking and get on with the video. So I'm going to start by talking through his trick, and then I'm going to be revealing it at the time that's on screen here. There's also timestamps on the video to help you guys out, because I know some of you will want to have a recap of what he did, then watch the reveal, but some of you just want to know how he did it. So timestamps on the video and also on screen here for when the reveal is, just to help you guys out. If you guys do enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe, as it really helps me out, and hope you guys enjoy. The magician takes a box and brings it down to the judges' table, greeting them with his pleasant smile, which we can't actually see, giving it a very sinister effect. He places it pretty much in front of Heidi and asks her to take a piece of paper out of the box and pass it to him. He then asks Sophia to put 5 drops of ink on it, and he makes the ink bottle appear from completely nowhere out of his hand. She then does what he says, because let's be honest, none of us would go against his orders. He then lights a candle, which comes into a key point later, I guess. He places the paper on top of the box and presses it down with a piece of wood. Taking it out, we can all see it looks somewhat like a spider or an insect with 8 legs. So, a spider. He then asks Terry what he thinks it looks like, and of course he says spider as well. Klek Entos then says what everybody didn't want him to say.
What if the box has the power to make your imagination come to life?
With everybody confused why the candle was lit, he then places his finger in it, creating an enormous spark from his hand. He then opens the box and, of course, shows us that there is a humongous spider in there, leaving the judges shell-shocked. He then takes out the spider, puts it in his hand, and muffles it up, and then actually makes it disappear, completely vanishing and turning into smoke, leaving the whole audience and the 4 judges stunned with a brilliant exit. Now we're going to get on to the reveal. So the main start point of this trick is him asking Heidi to take out a piece of paper from the box. He could have just handed one to her, but the reason he made her take out a piece of paper from the box was to give the illusion that it was completely empty, as obviously her hand was going in there. And a lot of you probably thinking, how did the spider end up being there? Well, there could have easily been a panel of wood at the back where the spider was behind, so then when Heidi touched the back of the box, it actually wasn't the back of the box, and it was a piece of wood basically covering the back of the box, which I've said too much now. The spider could have been behind there. Also, I'm going to talk about if the spider was actually real or not later, because we did see it move, but I'll get on to that in a bit. Then he tells Sophia to put 5 ink droplets onto the piece of paper, and then the next part of his trick, which is probably the first bit of real magic, is him making the bottle of ink appear. So his right hand was actually behind his back or in his pocket area his entire time he was talking to her, pretty much. So then when he had his left hand palm facing upwards, ready for something to be put there, what he pretty much did was use some sleight of hand and had an ink bottle in his right hand, and then brought it up, placed it onto his left hand, then waved it over his left hand, giving it the illusion that it pretty much just appeared from nowhere after he waved over it. But of course, it did come from his right hand, and a lot of people would say, oh, but he has sleeves, it could have come from there. Let's be honest, an ink bottle probably wouldn't come out of his sleeves so smoothly, so the only option is it to come from his hand. Unless if it really did appear, if you guys want to believe it was real magic, then you know what, go ahead, because it could be. There's no proof it's not, but that's one of the ways he could have done that. Of course, then Sophia places 5 ink droplets onto the piece of paper, and then he lights the candle, which sets up another trick in a minute. And then again, he puts the piece of paper on the top of the box, and here is something that actually kind of is a magic trick, but no one really noticed. When he pushed against the piece of paper that was on top of another piece of wood, what could have happened was, with the piece of wood he was actually using to push down on, there was a little compartment where basically a piece of paper could have dropped onto the other one, and then he could have used sleight of hand to cover the other one up that Sophia put droplets onto. Because putting 5 droplets onto a piece of paper and then pressing it against a piece of wood doesn't make it look like a spider as much as it did, so there's a high chance he swapped the pieces of paper, and when he was pressing it against the wood, like I said, there could have been a little compartment compartment with one of the pieces of wood where it can drop down something else whilst it was pressed together, and obviously there was a box underneath so it could have gone into that. Like I said earlier, there could be a lot of different hidden compartments in this box and in these pieces of wood we just don't know about because we can't see. If you guys also have any other questions, then leave a comment down below because I'll reply to them within 24 hours. Usually I reply to them pretty quickly actually, so if you guys have any questions then comment it down below because I usually reply pretty much on the spot. If I don't, then I'm just busy making more content for you guys. That's why you should subscribe. Anyway, moving on to the next part of the trick. Now for the part where his finger gets set on fire and creates an enormous spark. Pretty much what happens here is he could have had a lot of chemicals, different kinds of chemicals, on his fingers that can basically stop the glove from completely burning, but then also make fire inflame when it has contact with these chemicals. I don't know the exact type of chemicals. I'm not a scientist. I consider myself more of a magician than a scientist, if anything. So he could have used some sort of chemical to basically put on his hand, like they do in circuses when they have fire all over them and you're thinking, how the hell aren't they burning? It's because they put certain chemicals on them. Now for the most spine-shivering part is the part where he reveals there is a tarantula in the box. I have immense arachnophobia for tarantulas. Tarantulas are literally like the worst animal I could think of being near. If you guys like tarantulas, then you know what? Cool. But basically, there's two things that could have been done here. So if the spider wasn't real, then it would make it a lot easier. If the spider truly was real, then the trick would have been a lot more difficult to portray, which is why I believe it could be a fake spider that he has that has like little mechanics in that basically make it kind of tweeter, because we never saw it crawl like a proper spider. We saw its legs just move a little bit. Therefore, there's a high chance it could be a fake spider that looks very realistic. Because, I mean, if you think of spiders in films, not all of them are real that you see there, so that could be one of the things he's done. So then when he took the spider into his hand, it could be a certain spider that is basically a gimmick, which is pretty much kind of like a fake, is kind of what it means. It's difficult to describe. Google what a gimmick is if you want to know the proper definition, because I'm not an English teacher either. Basically, it could have been something where, like that has been happened on Britain's Got Talent, where something can just completely turn into smoke and disappear. So if the spider was fake, when he took it out of the box, he truly did actually pick up the fake spider. There could have been a button he pressed, or someone backstage pressed a button or something that basically turns the spider into smoke, or just lets off a gas and then he deposits the spider somewhere else, or it can shrink, because you can get shrinking and growing gimmicks like Ben Hart used when he was hitting this piece of paper on a fan. This is on Britain's Got Talent, by the way, and then it turned into a full-size egg. There are gimmicks like that. If the spider was real, however, here's what I believe could have gone down. When he took it out of the box, he actually didn't take the real spider, he left it in there because the box lid was closed, and then he took just a couple like fake legs, because you could see only just like 2 or 3 legs poking out of his hands, and then that could have been something that can turn into smoke as well. Basically what happened here is whatever he took out most likely wasn't a real spider, because there's no way he would have completely burned or made a real spider disappear, because it's pretty much impossible and inhumane. So the main option that he could have taken was that there was a fake spider in the box, he took it out, and as it's a gimmick, which is basically something magicians use a lot, it could have just turned into smoke and completely disappear. And also you've got to remember that he is wearing sleeves. Obviously there's not a high chance he put a spider up his sleeve as he was right next to the judges, but you know, it's always a possibility. Also, it's actually known that producers can work with magicians to have specific camera cuts where the magician might need to use some certain sleight of hand, so this is why it's really difficult sometimes for people like me to try to see exactly what he did. So that's pretty much the reveal, guys. If you have any questions at all, put them in the comments and I'll try and answer them as quick as I can and to the best of my ability. I'm going to be doing a lot of reveals on AGT magicians this year, so if you've listened all the way to the end, please subscribe right now, as you'll get notified as soon as I reveal another magician and upload other AGT and BGT related videos. If you guys did enjoy today's video, then make sure you leave a like down below, as it really helps me out to know what type of videos I should be uploading. I hope I explained it pretty well. It was a difficult trick to explain, as it was a lot of sleight of hand, which is more difficult to explain than just a simple card trick. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and I shall see you in a bit.